So let's talk about millionaire principle number 2. There's 7 levels in investor. Now, I learned this from Robert Kiyosaki, but over the years, I've changed it a little bit to kind of put my own spin to it. Now, during my in-depth study of money, I made a shocking discovery. Despite the many and varied personality types in the world, there are only really 7 levels of investors. How many? 7. And while it is common for an individual to drift a little from one investor type to another, most people stay fixed at one level for their entire lives.
The king of high-ticket sales, world's highest paid consultant, media celebrity, multi-millionaire entrepreneur, acclaimed TEDx speaker, international best-selling author, Dan Lok.
So, if there are some books I would recommend you to read, one would be Rich Dad's Prophecy. Put in your to-do list to read Rich Dad's Prophecy. Also, Harry Dent's book, The Sale of a Lifetime. How the Great Bubble Burst of 2017 Can Make You Rich. Those 2 books I recommend. It would scare the shit out of you. It would scare the shit out of you. And my recommendation is, it may happen, maybe happen in 2016, it might happen in 2017, right? It's the baby boomers taking money out. What we do know, 100% with certainty, is it's going to happen. It just when. So I say, why not be prepared? When the market crash, a lot of people will lose everything. And I mean wiped out. Not, my stock is worth this, I mean wiped out. Asset class, gone. Fixed, risk-free investment, gone. The banks are out of business. But if you prepare, you also do very well. It all depends, right? I can't fucking wait. I can tell you that. I'm like praying, please, come, right? My time has come, right? People often get caught up in the I need to make more money trap. In fact, your income actually has very little to do. Your income has very little to do with the ability to obtain financial freedom. So 7 levels investors has nothing to do with the income. Rather, they relate to what you do with your income. Now, how much money you make has nothing to do with the income, but what you do with your income. It's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep and what you do with it. So I talk about level 0. The very first level is level 0. I call that the non-existent. The not what? Non-existent. They essentially have no investments or savings. They're completely unconscious or oblivious of money matters in general, and their spending habits in particular. They usually complain, I don't make enough money. That if I just make more money, everything would be okay. How many heard of people like that before? I don't make enough money, I make more money, everything would be okay. The problem is not necessarily the income or lack of, but rather their money management habits. Let me tell you about the sad story of Mike Tyson. During the 20-year span of his career, Tyson's income exceeded $400 million. Not 40, $400 million in his 20 years. Yet in 2004, before his 39th birthday, he was $38 million in debt. So he blew $400 million. On top of that, another $38 million. Now you could say, well, but again, Tyson, at the time, he made millions of dollars a fight. A guy who can make millions of dollars a fight can be broke. Well, his financial statement says otherwise. Doesn't matter how much money he makes. You look at the financial statement, he has the cash flow pattern of a poor person. In fact, it's worse than poor. Because if your net worth is 0, you're 38 million richer than him. His is 38 million in debt. Follow me? It's not how much money you make. So, level number 1, the borrower. Now, the borrower is often in a far worse financial position than the non-existent, though his or her potential for change may be great, because usually they're making a little bit more money. The borrower often has very high debt. Borrowers spend all they make and more. They know how to consume. They know how to buy stuff. The idea of financial planning is to get a new Visa or MasterCard. Okay? Borrowers, here's the thing, usually they live in complete financial denial. They live in complete financial denial. They often come to believe that the situation is hopeless, and they kind of just give up. It's just the way it is, man. And when they feel depressed, what do? They go out and buy more. It gets them out of that funk. I'm depressed. I spend more, get into more debt, and then I go back and I'm depressed and I go and spend more money, and it becomes this cycle. Okay. Level number 2, the saver. The saver usually put aside a small amount of money on a regular basis. Now, the money is generally deposited into a very low risk, low return vehicle, such as a term deposit or money market account. So savers usually save to consume rather than invest. So they saved up the money and then they'll go on vacation. They save the money, they'll buy a car. They save the money, they might buy a big TV. They're very afraid of financial matters and unwilling to take any risk. They're just safe. You can see that, oh man, they're the ones who would drive many hours to save a few dollars. They're the ones who would line up on Boxing Day and fight and wait for 10 hours, try to save that item. Savers. Level number 3, the passive investor. What kind of investor? The passive investor. So these investors are aware of the need to invest and usually, add to the RSP or 401k in the US by making employee contributions. And sometimes they even have outside investments such as maybe a mutual fund or shares, stocks or bonds. They make up 2/3 of the population that we call the middle class. They call what? Middle class. And however, when it comes to investing, they are financially illiterate. It's just kind of like put that aside, and that's the mentality. And these are very common things they might say. Well, I'm not very good with numbers. I'm not very good with numbers. I never understand how this real estate investment work or how this stock investing stuff work. I'm just too busy to follow everything. It's just too complicated. Well, I prefer to leave the money decisions to the professional. Oh, here's a good one. I love this one. I have the best financial planner in town. I don't need to understand everything that's going on. He's a great guy. He's a nice guy. Leave the professional. He's a great guy. They have very little idea where the money is invested or why. Now, here's the thing. These investors blindly follow the market like sheep and then squeal a lot like pigs before running to their own slaughter. They also believe that high rates of return of investment are impossible and probably illegal. You tell them, oh, this thing can get 15-20% return. Oh, that's too risky. That's impossible. You don't do that. No. That's how they are. It's also common for these people to whine and complain about missing out. So at the same time, you tell them about these investments potential, and you can make these returns. Oh, that's too risky. I don't want to do that. And suddenly they see people making money. Oh, shit. I should have gotten into that. I should have jumped into that. I missed out. And they're the ones that would follow the newspaper. Suddenly the news is saying, oh, the market is crashing. Sell. Oh, no, sorry, no. I need to buy. And the broker is happy to take the call because every time they buy and sell, they make a commission. Okay? So passive investor. So those are the first few, right? You have the non-existent, the borrower, the saver, the passive investor. Now, before I go into the other ones, let me give you 3 minutes to discuss those ones first. Who do you know that belongs to what category? Or maybe what level you're in? Time to be honest. Time to be fucking honest. Put up your hand. How many of you are learning something new today? Yes? Very good. And put up your hand if you know people who are at level 0. Okay? Put your hand if you know people who are at level 1. And how many of you know people at level 2? And level 3? Let's dive a little bit deeper. Now, the passive investor, they do not like risk. At the same time, they very much love to use what I call sophisticated investment techniques, such as margins, short calls, puts, calls, without proper knowledge of exactly what it is they're committing to or the real risk. Now, passive investors lose money more than 90% of the time. They lose money more than 90% of the time because they like to speculate. They will never discuss their losses, but will always brag about their big win. You don't hear about when they lose money. They only, I bought this stock, it went up, I doubled my money. You only hear about those stories. They believe all they need is just one big hit. Then you'll be on easy street. They're gamblers. They're basically gamblers. They like to gamble. Okay? And unfortunately, I've seen entrepreneurs, they work listen to me. I've seen entrepreneurs who work very, very hard their entire lives. They accumulate quite a bit of money. But they listen to their friends, they listen to something, hey man, surefire thing, man, put some money into it. And what took them 10 years to accumulate, because they're not a good investor, level 3, what took them 10 years, they can lose it in 1 year. Everything. And now it takes them another, how many years. But here's the thing, entrepreneurs, it's in our nature, we can work hard. And we're like, well, let's rebuild this shit. And we do. And the next time, they're smarter next time. But unfortunate thing is they lost a lot of time. They lost that 10, 15, 20 years. I see that so often. So my hope for you is don't follow that path. Make the money, put aside some money, get yourself educated, invest in what you know. Don't follow that path. It's painful. Fortunately, with me, it didn't take me 10 years. I put in the money, and now one thing I was smart, when I was investing, I wasn't greedy. I wasn't trying to, you know what, I'm gonna put all my money to this. You know, even all the tech companies, I only put a percentage of my money. So even when I lost all that money, it is still okay. But if I was greedy and say I put more, because I know how to cut my losses, that's one thing. I know the tech company I invest in, an entrepreneur, a young guy, and talk about burn rate. He burned the money in 3 months. I'm like, okay, man, Dan, I need more money. Okay, fine, I'll write a check, right? I write a check, man, and after a few months later, come back to me, Dan, I need more money. And I say, you know what, this is the last time. I'll write a check one last time. If it doesn't go, we don't get traction, I'm done. So I wrote that check, of course, lost that money, and that was it. So I wasn't trying to save it, trying to rescue, and trying to, you know what, it's going to win. It's like a gambler, right? They lose money, they go to the casino, I'm going to win this time, man, I'm going to win. And they borrow money, I'm going to win next time. So one thing I did do right is I minimized my losses, although I lost quite a bit of money, but still, my nest egg, it's okay. But in the same time, I never stopped improving my high income skills. So I still have a lot of cash coming in. That's what gives me stability. Make sense? So it was okay. It was okay. Level number 4. This is where every single person in this room needs to get to, at the very, very minimum. Level 4, the automatic investor. Automatic investors are clearly aware of the need to invest. However, unlike passive investors, they are actively involved in their investments. They're actively involved in their investment decisions. They have clearly laid out written long-term plan that will enable them to reach their financial objectives. Let me ask you a question. With the wealth triangle, is that a plan that you can follow? Yes. Yeah, it's a very clear, very simple plan. They do not get fancy. Here's the thing. They don't use like options or margin accounts or any of the other stuff sophisticated money managers use. They buy good shares, proven managed funds, or solid investments and hold them for the long term, such as Warren Buffett, right? Automatic investor. Like I said, you can have high income skills, and if you're smart and being an automatic investor, you do well. You can do very, very well. Level number 5 is what I call
Why are they called automatic?
because you only invest a certain percentage. You're looking at it, you're learning about it, but you see the differentiation between automatic and inactive. So you just put aside money automatically and you just invest. Yes. Yes. Mike?
Yeah, when I first started out investing in my 20s, I was a passive investor. I always listened to my banker. They look good in their suits, right? So whatever they said, I said, yes, okay, let's do it. And but in my 30s, I realized that that was not going to make me wealthy, right? So, and I lost, in one trade, I lost $250,000 in one stock trade. So that was a big, big wake-up call and a big lesson that I need to learn. Not just trust other people with my money. I have to learn to manage my own money. So, but yes, but now I'm a completely active investor. I do work in finance. I can safely say, conservatively, that 97% of mutual funds don't work. 97%. 3% work. There's 5,000 funds in Canada. 3% work, and those funds change all the time. So if you have a good financial planner who studies the markets like I do, then you know what those 3% are, right? Otherwise, 97% of them don't work. So that's the reality of it.
Round of applause. Very good. Then level number 5 is the active investor. And this is where I'm at. So the top 2 levels of investor are reached by only a tiny, tiny percentage of the people on planet Earth. Active investors understand that to move to this level, they must become very clear on their 2 things. Their investing principles. What is it? Investing principles. What is it? Investing principles. And their rules of investing. Their what? Rules of investing. Their vehicle of choice might be real estate. It could be discounted paper, businesses, or shares. Could be even private companies. They actively, what's the word? Actively participate in the management of their investments. They don't just put aside the money and hopefully, they will do a good job. They are looking, they're monitoring, they can see how they can, add value as the active investor. They consistently strive to optimize performance while minimizing risk. It's not they just put aside money. So automatic investor, they just put aside money. They don't look at it. They should look at. Not they don't look at it. They are not super active. They're not super active. They invest automatically, but they're not super active. It's normal for active investors to have long-term annual return of 20 to even 100%. They intimately understand money and how it works. Okay. The main focus is on increasing their assets, thus their cash flow, their net worth, build their net worth. So their money philosophies vary dramatically from the poor and the middle class. Rather than investing what is left of their money, here's the key, after spending, they believe in spending what is left of their money after investing. That's the differentiation. That is it. When I make the money, I invest in companies, real estate. When that throws off cash flow, I spend whatever the hell I want. I can buy the nice place. I can buy the sport car because it's an asset that's paying for my luxuries, not my work. So now, let me ask you this. Can I take my high income skills and my income and just go spend? Yes? Let's not do that. Let's take the money, go through the filter first. Manage my money, put into the investments, whatever is left, spend all you want. Because this machine, these assets, it will keep cranking out cash flow for me. Now I enjoy my life however I want with this. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's the only difference. It's the order. That is the order after investing. Level number 6, they're capitalist. Few people in the world ever reach this level of investment excellence, and fewer stay to manage to remain there. These are the Rockefellers, the Kennedys, the Fords, Carnegies, Bill Gates, the Buffetts, of course. Capitalists have 2 principles, motivations, with regard to investing: to be a good manager of their money while they are living, while they're alive, and leave a legacy to continue after they're gone. Bill Gates give a big chunk of the wealth. Same thing with Warren Buffett, their legacy, give away a big chunk of the wealth. That's the capitalist. That's the capitalist. Take 2 minutes. How long? 2 minutes. Discuss the rest of the levels. Go. So, what have you learned from my talk? What does it mean to you, and how are you going to take direct action? Comment below and share with me your thoughts. And don't forget, click on the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification, and click on the bell. If you want to watch my other videos related to this topic, check out some of these videos on the left. Keep watching and keep learning.